Hey again, and welcome back to my craft room. This is card number 3 in my June product class, my card class by mail. And as we've mentioned, we're featuring the Happiness Abounds stamp set and all the beautiful things that go with it. This is the last card. Somebody said to me it was an unusual combination of colours, which I suppose it is in a way. We've got some Bermuda Bay, we've got some Highland Heather, and I think that one there, the card base is Coastal Cabana. So yeah, probably unusual colours, but I think together they work really well. So let's just get on with this last card. Again, you've got your card base. Be careful getting it out because you've got bling, and in this case as well, you've got some foliage that's been cut with a punch, so that could come out as well and be dropped. So I'm just going to leave the fiddly bits in the envelope as well. And as again with the previous card, I'm going to show you both ways of making this card, i.e. stamping and die cutting the leaves, the images from the stamp set, and using die cut, fussy cut images from the designer series paper, since a few of you have opted that way. Okay, so let's just assemble our card. It's the same regardless of which way you go. You've got a panel of basic white to go inside your Coastal Cabana card base. Then you have a panel of Highland Heather, and that's going to go on the front. So just glue again. There's no ribbon or anything that we have to worry about forgetting, which I usually do. So that goes on. There's quite a large border around the edge of that, as you can see. It's probably a good 1/2 inch all the way around, but that's exactly what we want. I'm going to actually score that a bit because it's not closing properly. Okay, so that's in the centre there. Then you've got a panel of basic white, and I've popped this through through my cut and emboss machine with the die from the die set. That's got this lovely sort of cuts a series of holes in the cardstock, and some of them are actually holes, and some of them are like little petals that actually will, if you wanted to, you can flick them up, so that would give a 3D effect. Yeah, so this one's going to go, I'm just going to leave it as is. Now this one's going to go over to the left-hand side of your cardstock. So you're going to have quite a large gap of the Highland Heather showing out, but the same gap left, top and bottom, if you can see what I mean there. So just pop some glue on the back of that. Careful you don't get too much glue where the holes are. You'll end up making yourself like one of those Rivita sandwiches where the Vegemite oozes up through the holes. We used to do when we were little. Okay, so we'll pop that on there. And as I say, you're leaving quite a large gap on the right-hand side there. And that's on purpose because we're going to stamp our sentiment there. In fact, we might do that now. So I'm going to do the happy birthday again, as I did with my original card. And so I've got the happy birthday on the stamping block. I'm going to turn the card, even though this is a portrait card, I'm going to turn it sideways for putting our sentiment on. We're going to put it on that piece of purple that's showing out, sort of central of that, if you can. So it's sort of going up and down. So when they look at the card, it's a up and down sort of sentiment. Here we are. So that's the sentiment done. Okay. So we might as well get to our flowers now. So that's basically the card made. We just need to decorate it with our pretty flowers. So I'll pop it aside for the moment. You've got a spare piece of white cardstock, and all you need this time is this rose. So this sort of it's my favourite rose from the set actually. It just looks like a rose. There's nothing too fancy about it. It just looks how it's supposed to. So we need 3 of those. We're going to colour 2 of them. Well, I'm going to colour 2 of them with Bermuda Bay and 1 of them with Highland Heather blends. And again, I've got them all here. So we'll start with our Bermuda Bay. Funny colour for a rose, I know. And as I always do with my blended flowers, just imagine where the shadows would be and put the dark bits there. So in the little creases, the folds, underneath, that sort of area. Okay, I might do the other one too. Yeah, and I'll bring in my light Bermuda Bay and we'll just blend. Blending, blending, blending in little circular motions just to get those two colours to merge in. Be a bit more careful towards the ends, obviously, towards the edges, but you can be pretty vigorous with your blending on the inside. Now you could colour these with pencils, markers, ink. You could do a lovely sort of watercolour effect if we're using ink and a aqua painter. Blends, I think, I love my blends, so you can always build up a collection over time. A hint with blends, always make sure that your lids are on tight. I recently allowed my Granny Apple Green to dry out. Because they are alcohol ink, they will dry out if you leave them uncovered. So make sure that snappy colour, that snappy noise happens and you get the lid on. So there's those. I'm just making sure that's focused on you so you can see. So that's our two bluey greeny ones. So I'm bringing in my Highland Heather now. Same sort of deal. Dark where we think the shadows would be. And then bringing in the light and blending in. So that one's just about gone. So have used this one a lot over the years. If you wanted to introduce a third colour for this particular one, the Fresh Freesia is the lighter version again, so you could always introduce Fresh Freesia as well. Forgive that squeaky noise. Okay, so they are our flowers. So now basically grab your dies or your scissors and fussy cut or die cut those out and you'll be ready to pop them on your card. You don't need any leaves, particularly with this one, because we're going to use the leaves that I've punched from vellum. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to do both versions. Well, I've now shown you how to colour those stamped flowers, and I'll continue the rest of the way with the ones I've cut from the designer series paper. Okay, so sticking with the theme from the card, I've got 2 of that little rose, and that is exactly the same image that we just stamped and coloured. So that's in Bermuda Bay. And then, because I couldn't find one in exactly the same image in my in the purple range, so I've used the different rose, but it's the same size, it's just a slightly different rose. So, but anyway, you've got 2 flowers in the Bermuda Bay and 1 in the Highland Heather. And you've also got some various leaves and things. Now to punch those leaves, I used the bow punch, which is absolutely the best punch out, I think. I'm so glad I just got it. So each time you punch it, you get 2 of these big leaves and 2 of the smaller little buds. So we'll use all of those on the card. Okay, so first of all, we'll bring back in our card base. It's just about ready, or ready to be decorated. So I'm going to use the two Bermuda Bay ones first and pop those on. So just down bottom left-hand corner, and pop them down like this. So they're sort of pointing up towards the top corner of the card, the top right-hand corner of the card. Just like that. And then with dimensionals, I'm going to pop the purple one on top, just to give this one a bit of height. Here we are. So with your stamped and die cut, you do exactly the same thing. 2 Bermuda Bay ones behind, and then the purple one on top. Then with our little leaves, we're going to just pop some glue on the back. If your glue would come out. And pop those in as well. I may have to, depending on whether I can slip that down, to trim that one off a bit. Just off at there. Okay, and these little ones here will go in the centre. Okay, so they really just give the hint of leaves. So just a little bit of texture that you sort of see when you move the card around. I wonder whether I can make that one too long. What I might do, what can I do? I've actually made that too long, comes out too far. Let's snip it off a bit if I can get away with it. Put a bit more glue on there. And then slip it in. There we are, that's better. Okay, that's better, I like that better. Cool, so there's our leaves. As I say, the hint of leaves in there. Okay, so all we need to do now is add our bling. So you will have 3 little dots from the assorted glossy dot assortment. These are the pool, I think there's 3 colours in there. I think these are actually pool party, they call it, but it goes perfectly with the Coastal Cabana from our card base. And those off. They do sit very flat to the plastic, so it's actually easier if you give the plastic a slight bend to get your either your fingernail or whatever it is you use. You take your pick tool up and underneath. And I'm just going to add those around as well. This is a quick one, this one. And there we are. Come on, guys. There we are. And that's just a wee bit of bling adds to that as well. Okay, so that is card number 3. That's done. Your class is done. So hopefully you enjoy that one and all the cards of this class. So again, if you decide to die cut, stamp and colour and die cut, you'll need these flowers there. So the two green and a purple. If you decide to take them from the designer series paper, the same thing, 2 green and a purple with that configuration down in the bottom left hand corner. Okay, done. Nice quick one, that one. So hopefully, as I say, you enjoyed all 3 cards for this class. That paper is absolutely divine. So I'm so glad we've got it for 12 months to keep playing. Definitely you will see it again if you watch my videos into the future. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed that class, keep your eye out on my Facebook page for future classes. If you're watching this on YouTube after they're released to the public and you would like to be involved, please either email me, which the email is on my YouTube channel, or pop over to my Facebook page and see the details there. Okay, so thanks for joining me, and I will see you all next month.